There's a lot cooking with this organization as we're through the halfway point. We're midway through the season with the Golden State Warriors. 41 down, 41 to go. They're 3 games over 500. DJ, man, quickly your thoughts on the Warriors start to the season.
Yeah, I think right now it's somewhat disappointing. You know, we know what the schedule was at the beginning of the season, the troubles with that, the injuries with Al Horford not getting his rhythm, having to wait for DeAnthony Melton until early December and seeing how good of an impact he's already had on these Warriors. I think right now I would grade this team as a C+. It's pretty much how I had them coming into the new year, but obviously there's room for improvement before the All-Star break. But I think right now it's a lot easier for them to teeter down to a C than to bump up to a B. You know what I mean, Bonta? It's like one bad game, I feel like kind of just drops them back down to, they're an average team, mediocre, whatever we want to call it, compared to getting one blowout win against the Blazers. That doesn't make me want to bump them up quite yet. I need to see that consistency. They haven't been 4 games above 500 yet. They haven't had a 4-game win streak yet. You know, the inconsistency is what's been the most consistent this season with this team. So, you know, I think it's a little bit disappointing, but we're starting to see closer and closer to what they expected with a healthy Al Horford and a healthy DeAnthony Melton.
Yeah, check with everything you just said there, because I was going to mention how they haven't won 3 games in a row or more than 3 games in a row. They've done that twice, right? They can't get over that hump. Just 3 games over 500. So they've got to find a way to get over the hump. Overall, they've won 9 of their last 13 games. There's positives there, but playing good teams. Look, they played Atlanta and got smoked on Sunday. And that's why I worry about the Portland Trailblazers game being a trap for them ahead of the New York Knicks game. You play a bad basketball team without their stars, you're going to fall into some bad habits there. So, you know, we're going to get into MPJ or whatnot, but let's hear from Jimmy Butler on how he assesses the first 41 games for the Golden State Warriors.
Mediocre.
What needs to change?
We need to win more games, lose less games. That's just where we are. And I think it's the worst place to be, is to be mediocre, because like, yes, it can go either way, but like nobody wants to be just average. Nobody wants to be average.
Nobody wants to be average. It's the worst place to be. You know, in the late 90s, early 2000s, the Atlanta Hawks were always like just average. Get to the playoffs as a 5, 6, 4 seed, whatever. Lose in the first round of the playoffs, maybe the second. And that was that. You're not in the draft lottery. You're picking in the low 20s. And being an average basketball team in the NBA, where they allow 16 teams in the NBA playoffs and also give other teams an opportunity to get in the playoffs with the play-in gimmick that we call the play-in tournament. I mean, yes, you don't want to be mediocre, especially in the Western Conference. So I agree 100% with Jimmy Butler. That's why this homestand is so important. Can they run the table over the next 4 games on this 8-game homestand and maybe go 4-0? Now, 3-1, I think they'll take it. 6-2 record on this 8-game homestand, you all take it, because you understand you got the Knicks, you got the Charlotte Hornets. You should be able to beat Big Baller Brand and Company. They don't play any defense. And then you have that back-to-back Monday and Tuesday against Miami and Toronto, where you're hoping probably for a split. So now's the time to stack some wins here. That's why this 11-game stretch where they didn't have to leave the state of California, Dalton, was so imperative for the Golden State Warriors to stack wins and get healthy. So they're getting healthy. They're starting to sustain their rotation. But over these next 41 games, you want to end the season at least 10 to 15 games over 500.
Yeah, you have to. And we, you know, number one, we got to stop thinking about the 23-8 from last season.
Yep.
That was last season. That's in the past. This team needs to show that they can go on a similar run, that they can gain momentum and keep that momentum. Because it feels like, again, whenever they've gone 2 steps forward, there's been a step backward. So that's what I'm looking for right now. The homestand is huge, Bonta. We said going into it, they have to go at least 6-2. I think Moley, he predicted a 7-1 homestand.
Yeah.
That would be big time for this team, because it's been so hard for them to gain any ground in the standings, even when they have had a 1, 2, 3-game win streak, you know. So I think for them to keep getting some rhythm, some momentum, and the longer that they can withstand not having to start the playoffs early like last year, that's so much better for them. Because right when the trade deadline came and they got Jimmy Butler, it was playoff mode. If they can give themselves a little bit of grace here in these dog days, because they're all talking about it. They're in the midst of these dog days of the summer. They say Christmas to the All-Star break, start of January to the All-Star break. That's the dog days. It's tough for these guys, especially a team that has Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond at their ages. So if they can withstand this, you know, and gain a little ground, that's going to be huge for this team, Bonta.